right? So first, geomorphology is basically the scientific study of the landforms. And the term landform itself can be used for several questions. Landform, impact on resources, the impact of landform on population, that is social geography, the impact of landform, let's say, on tourism, like that is the social and economic consequences of landforms. The impact of landforms on economic growth and development. These all can be a separate question where we need to think about. Population, obviously the density of population, the infrastructural setups and all, even the population growth rate. You might not be aware of the fact that birth rate is also influenced by landform. Do you have any idea about it? How? Like the mountainous region, the birth rate is generally lower when you compare with the people of plain area or plateau area of similar social status. Like labor class in mountainous region will have lower birth rate as compared to the labor class in plain and plateau areas.
The difficulty of the terrain that impacts the life pattern due to more physical activities by the person.
Yes, for the same unit of work, the energy required in the mountainous region is relatively higher. And whenever we talk about any such issues or any such figure or data, we talk in historical perspective. It is not just a matter of 5 years or 10 years issue. It's a very long issue, like how the last 30, 40 years have been affected. So that's how, when we take into account when infrastructure development was not that strong. So walking for a work of, let's say, half a kilometer or 1 kilometer in the mountainous area would dig out a lot of energy into it. Secondly, whenever the temperature is relatively on the lower side and uniform throughout the year, the birth rate will be lower. That's why temperate region also has lower birth rate as compared to the tropical region, which will always have higher birth rate, again in the similar social status. Because the most fundamental aspect which will affect the birth rate is social status, socio-economic condition of the society. Not only economic, social conditions, education rate, the literacy rate of women, the woman empowerment, the woman say in decision making process and all. So those factors play a very, very significant role. Thereafter, the terrain and climate comes next, and maybe other traditions or religion and all will be the last point in such things. So relatively, so what do we mean by landform? Basically, the configuration, undulations on the surface of the earth. Which is produced because of a complex interaction between the endogenetic forces exogenetic forces. This is what combinedly is called geomorphic process. Then we have the nature of rocks and the involvement of biotic community. So a combination of endogenetic and exogenetic forces together with the nature of rock and the biotic community. Here biotic community in broader sense will include humans as well, and the human impact on landforms. The question which deals about the present day landform is far more complex than what is used to be in the past. Means earlier, especially let's say 5000 years before, or maybe even 200 years before, the endogenetic and exogenetic forces together with the nature of the rocks were responsible for the formation of lands. Nowadays it has been increased its complexity basically because of the involvement of humans. Right? Human has much greater capacity to modify the minor features of land. Obviously it cannot create mountains, it cannot create plateaus or big landforms, but definitely among that it can accelerate the rate of erosion, it can decelerate the rate of erosion, right? It can cause devegetation and deforestation, consequently leading to more amount of landslides, avalanche. The moment you have landslides, obviously the falling land particles and all will have a lot of impact on the peripheral area. The amount of sediments in the river can definitely be increased, right? Amount of sediments reaching up till delta can be increased by reducing the size of the volume and all. That's how humans are responsible for flood also. So that way is how it has become much more complex than what it used to be in the past. There is a term also that first order, second order and third order landform.